What's up, folks? It's your buddy Fatalroadie. Tonight we're going to be doing the Raw recap. We started off with Roman Reigns coming out, with the crowd oh so happy to see him. Reigns says he would meet Braun Strowman in the ring at 8 p.m. Braun Strowman's not there. Reigns runs his mouth for a little bit, then Braun Strowman comes out. Strowman still has the Money in the Bank case, so I guess his cash-in last week didn't count. He calls out Roman Reigns for his Shield brothers coming out last week. Reigns runs down Strowman, telling him to man up, and Braun Strowman says that he's going to be cashing in his Money in the Bank contract inside Hell in a Cell in September. Strowman and Reigns shake hands, and Dolph Ziggler comes out, running his mouth saying that his IC belt was stolen. Then McIntyre and Ziggler challenge Reigns and Strowman to a match, which brings out the new acting general manager, Baron Corbin. And he says he's going to make an unbelievable match that Kurt Angle could never make for the main event tonight, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. What? No shit, Sherlock, we just heard that not even 60 seconds ago. Then he makes a match that's next for Finn Balor versus Baron Corbin. Again. This is basically a waste of a match. Baron Corbin hit Finn Balor with a chair, getting himself disqualified. Then he grabs a microphone and then says, "This is now a no DQ match, start it back up." Then he hits Finn with the End of Days for the pin. Are we really doing this match this many times? We then have a very extended promo of the Triple H Undertaker match at the Super Showdown. Then we go to our next match, Sasha Banks versus Dana Brooke. This is actually amazing. Bayley and Sasha Banks aren't facing anybody from the Riot Squad this week. That being said, though, this is a surprisingly good match. There was a lot of action between Banks and Brooke. Sasha Banks was able to win with the bank statement. See, we can have good matches when you mix up the roster a little bit, instead of making a match with the same 6 people every week. Backstage, Jinder Mahal is reduced once again to a joke character. He gets threatened by Dean Ambrose, to which we'll have a match with them later tonight. Then we have Seth Rollins coming out. He issues an open challenge. Kevin Owens comes out. He's bitching and crying about not being the Universal Champion. After running his mouth for a while, he takes up the open challenge, and that's our next match. This is another good match. There's a lot of great spots throughout this match. A missed moonsault by Kevin Owens led to a curb stomp and a pin by Seth Rollins. We come back for commercial. Kevin Owens is camped out in the middle of the ring, says, "I quit," and walks off. We then have the B Team versus the Revival. This is a decent match. The Revival got the Shatter Machine on Curtis Axel for the pin, so I guess the B Team are no longer undefeated. After the match, they give a Shatter Machine to Bo Dallas, grab the tag team titles, and stand tall in the ring. And of course, it's a 10 o'clock waste of time with Elias. He runs down Toronto, and then he's interrupted by Trish Stratus. She tells Elias to shut his mouth, talking trash about Toronto. And then Trish Stratus cuts a promo about Evolution. Elias says that Trish Stratus wants to be with him, and Stratus slaps him in the face. And right at there, we go into our next match because Ronda Rousey comes out, and it's going to be Natalya versus Alicia Fox. Alexa Bliss cuts an extended promo, just running her mouth, which I'm usually pretty cool with Alexa Bliss's promos, but this was, oh my god. I think it probably had to do with a lot of the talk that's been going around throughout the whole show. But anyways, she brings back Mickie James. So along with the match, we have Trish Stratus, Ronda Rousey, Alexa Bliss, and Mickie James out at ringside. We're going back to let's get as many women in one spot at one time. This really wasn't much of a good match. Natalya won with the sharpshooter, and then we find out backstage that the Bella Twins will be returning to competition next week. By this time, it's about 30 minutes left in normal programming, and we find out we have 3 matches left on the card. We are going to shoehorn the hell out of these matches. We have another extended promo for Triple H and Undertaker. Granted, I'm looking forward to this match, but seriously, we are beating a dead horse here. By the time the pay-per-view comes up, I'm really not going to be too hyped up for this match. But anyways, we have Bobby Lashley facing the Ascension in a handicap match. This is just a glorified squash match. Bobby Lashley pinned Victor. And then we have Dean Ambrose versus Jinder Mahal. This is an okay match. It really wasn't much to it, being the shortened time we had. Dean Ambrose countered a Colossus into a Dirty Deeds for the pin. I'm actually liking the change from the Lunatic Ambrose to a more powerhouse moveset that he has now. We then come to our main event, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman versus Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre. This was a very confusing match. There was a bunch of good spots. Roman Reigns was getting his ass kicked. He finally tags in Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman does nothing. He just stands there on the apron, allowing McIntyre and Ziggler to beat the hell out of Roman Reigns. They get disqualified. Braun Strowman gets into the ring, choke slams Roman Reigns, throws him into the corner, and lets Ziggler and McIntyre beat the hell out of him. Dean Ambrose comes out for the save, gets a beatdown. Seth Rollins comes out and meets the same fate as his Shield brethren. Just put a cherry on top, Strowman power slams Roman Reigns, and then Ziggler, McIntyre, and Strowman stand tall in the middle of the ring. And here we end tonight's Raw. I wasn't too crazy about this Raw. It was a lot of talk on it. The 2 Super Showdown promos were really extended. There were some good matches though, I will say that. So if I were to say anything, it was about average, and we'll see what happens tomorrow on SmackDown. But that'll do it for this episode of Raw Recap. I'll be back tomorrow for the SmackDown review. Leave a comment down below what you thought of tonight's Raw, what you thought of this video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to share and subscribe. I've been Fatalroadie. You've been awesome. Thank you very much for watching. And remember, if it's too loud, you're too old. See ya.